Manabu Horikita is a great example of how to make a side character not only part of the story, but make him an interesting character overall. And I think Manabu Horikita is one of those characters where like you want to see more of him and you wanted to see more interactions. But sadly, if you have read the first year, you would know that Manabu graduated in volume 11.5 because it was his third year in the high school. But besides wanting more interactions between Manabu and Ayanokoji, he still left a mark in the story. Like, this character is one of my favorite side characters in any series of all time. Manabu just created something in the story that not only gave us more character development to our main protagonist Ayanokoji, but I enjoyed his conversations that he had between him and Ayanokoji. So let's just dive into it as to what makes Manabu Horikita such a great character, and probably the only person that as of right now Ayanokoji seems to have a ton of respect for. So who is Manabu Horikita? Well, obviously from the last name you can easily tell that he is related to Suzune Horikita, which is the fact that they are brother and sister. However, he is a third year and Suzune Horikita, when the story begins, she's in first year, so pretty much he's about to be graduating very soon as she got into this high school. However, it's very clear from the start that Manabu and Horikita don't have a very healthy relationship. In fact, it seems that they don't even talk as brother and sister. They seem to be keeping their distance from themselves for whatever reason. Now, we don't know at first as to why that is, and even Ayanokoji seems to have no idea why Manabu and Horikita don't have a good relationship. But either way, Ayanokoji and Manabu meet up when Ayanokoji sees Manabu about to hit Horikita. And it's kind of funny because in a way, this is how they first met, through a fight. This is literally how they interacted for the first time. They had a fight during their first interaction. However, this fight will play an important role later on in the story, because during this fight, Manabu realizes that Ayanokoji has a lot of tricks up his sleeves. From that instance, it seems like he already got interested in Ayanokoji. And this was shown in volume 2 when the whole pseudo expulsion thing was happening. After the whole situation where pseudo does not get expelled, Manabu asks Ayanokoji how he managed to save pseudo, which of course in typical Ayanokoji way, he doesn't really say anything. All he just says is he has nothing to do with the whole situation and that he had little involvement in trying to save pseudo, which Manabu clearly did not buy the story. And it clearly already just shows you that Manabu already knows that Ayanokoji is not revealing their full potential, meaning that Ayanokoji has a ton of potential but is not showing it for whatever reason. During the same interaction, Manabu offers Ayanokoji to be part of the student council, which is something that even his assistant Tachibana was shocked. The fact that Manabu out of nowhere was offering a position in the student council to a first year who just started school, and which obviously Ayanokoji denies, because as you all know, Ayanokoji doesn't want to be involved in any big things. He just wants to lay low at first. But it does clearly show you that Manabu has some sort of way to see people's true potential and who they are as an actual person. And this will further be proven once Manabu asks Ayanokoji to take down Nagamo. Nagamo is a second year who looks up to Manabu, but for some reason has different beliefs on how the school should operate, something that Manabu completely disagrees. You see, Manabu believes that the school system is just fine as the way it is. There's no need to change it because there's nothing wrong with it. However, Nagamo disagrees, saying that there has to be some change in order to see who is the best and just get rid of the people who just straight up suck. Something that Manabu believes could ruin the school and could lead to future problems for new students who come at the high school, which is why he wants Ayanokoji to do something. Now, at first, Ayanokoji is confused as to why Manabu wants him to do this anyway, because it seems that Manabu is already set for graduation, so once he leaves, he doesn't really have to worry about the school because he has already graduated and he has succeeded in passing the high school. In which Manabu makes a counter argument saying that while yes, this won't affect him in the future, this could affect Ayanokoji. And at that point, Ayanokoji started to actually take this kind of seriously. Now, he was still skeptical, but at this point he kind of realized that maybe what Manabu was saying was true. Maybe if he didn't take care of Nagamo, he could potentially be at risk of getting expelled, because in this part of the story, it was already very clear that Nagamo was starting to also grab attention to Ayanokoji, meaning that he also started to see that Ayanokoji wasn't revealing his true personality and his true potential, something that Nagamo now was interested in and wanted to see what Ayanokoji was capable of. And of course, this is something that Ayanokoji doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to show off. He doesn't want people to see who he actually is. But this also once again just shows you what kind of person Manabu is. It's very clear that he deeply does care about what happens in the school, but not only that, he also realizes that Ayanokoji is very capable of doing this kind of thing. And this is said when Ayanokoji asked Manabu why does he believe that he could be capable of taking down Nagamo? Why does he have so much confidence in that he will actually do something? To which Manabu responds by saying that he could tell when someone is actually good or not. He can easily tell just from looking at their faces that either they are a good student and have a ton of potential, or they're just a lackluster student that will eventually be expelled. This further proves just how serious and how honest Manabu is about Ayanokoji, which is something that Ayanokoji never expected. He never expected someone to actually have so much confidence in him and see what he's capable of. But this also just strengthened Ayanokoji's character development because he starts to actually have respect for Manabu. He clearly states in the story that Manabu is a person that he actually has respect for and that he actually doesn't mind talking to every once in a while because it seems that he actually does care for what Manabu has to say. As time goes on, Ayanokoji and Manabu's interaction seem to be actually more trustworthy, meaning they actually do talk about other things apart from just the school. And one of the moments in which they actually talk about something that isn't related to the school is when Ayanokoji tells Manabu as to why he keeps a distance from Horikita, his little sister, in which Manabu pretty much explains how the reason why he doesn't talk to Horikita is not because he is angry at her or hates her with a passion. No, it's because he is disappointed at her. I already mentioned this in the Horikita video, but basically Horikita tried way too hard to be like Manabu, the way he talked, the way he treated others, and she even went as far as to wear the same things he would wear, eat the same foods he liked to eat, also the colors he liked. It was very clear that Horikita seemed to want to be like Manabu. She was just following his shadow, which is something that disappointed Manabu because he realized that Horikita had a ton of potential and could even surpass him, something that Ayanokoji was kind of surprised to hear him say that because it seemed that Manabu was completely being honest and serious, saying that Horikita could actually surpass him if she wasn't trying to be just like him. And that clearly just shows you that Manabu is always being honest and being 100% serious. He's not joking, he's not trying to be exaggerated. No, he's actually being honest, saying that yeah, Horikita could surpass him if she was her own person. Another thing that Manabu also pointed out was the fact that it seems that Horikita actually smiled before she tried to be just like him. She was actually smiling a whole lot, which was something that Ayanokoji couldn't believe, that she was actually a person that could smile, because she in most cases is a very serious person. But during this interaction we can clearly tell that Manabu isn't a cold-hearted person that hates her sister for no reason. No, it's very clear that he doesn't hate her, it's just that he's disappointed, and yes, he does care about her, but he believed at first that if he distanced herself from her, she would realize that she didn't have to follow his shadow, which is something that even now he realized that was a huge mistake, because it seems to have worsened Horikita, and it seems to have made her believe that the reason why he was distant was because she was not like him, which was something that he was not trying to do whatsoever. However, towards the end of the first year, this interaction between Ayanokoji and Manabu, the final interaction they will ever have, because this was in volume 11.5 when Manabu just graduated. He already finished high school and was out to go into the real world. This interaction just pretty much showed why I enjoyed Manabu as a character, because he really influenced Ayanokoji, and he started to show Ayanokoji that maybe there's more to it than just simply seeing everything in black and white. Maybe there was a reason why Ayanokoji shouldn't just, hide his potential. In fact, he should do something with that potential and skills he has under his sleeve. Something that Ayanokoji never really thought of, because he always just wanted to lay low and not really be involved in any huge thing. But now, after he interacted with Manabu so many times, he was now questioning what was his purpose in coming to this school. What was he really trying to do? Did he really just want to lay low throughout the entire high school life? That was something that Ayanokoji never really thought of, but after talking to Manabu so many times, he actually now considered what was he planning to do next. What was he actually going to do during his entire high school life? Was he actually going to do something and maybe leave a mark into the school so that in the future, when new students come into this high school, maybe the name Kiyotaka Ayanokoji will be something that they will remember. Maybe the school will remember the name Kiyotaka Ayanokoji, and his history in this school will probably be talked about as time goes on. But one thing I also enjoyed about the final interaction that Manabu and Ayanokoji had was always the farewells. Ayanokoji and Manabu's farewells were something really important, because it really just showed you that these two did have a connection. Sure, they weren't always chatting and they clearly had ulterior motives every time they talked to each other. It was very clear that they had some sort of connection. And when Horikita came to finally, apologize to her brother, saying that she was wrong all the time, that she didn't have to be him, that she had to be her own person, Manabu actually smiled, which was something that Ayanokoji never seen before, but it was a smile that wasn't like fake. It was a genuine smile, something that clearly shows that he was proud that Horikita came to her senses and realized she had to be her own person. And when Ayanokoji saw this, he really wished that he had met Manabu earlier. He really wished that if he had gone to school just a year before Manabu became a third year, he might actually see what kind of person he was. Sure, he already knew what kind of person he was, but we wanted to see more of Manabu, what else he was during this high school, because he only met him from 1 year, and that isn't enough time to see what someone actually is as a person, to see their full strength, their full traits. This is something that Ayanokoji wished to see, but sadly that wasn't going to happen because already Manabu graduated and there was nothing else he could do. And once it was about time to leave, Manabu gave one last thing to Ayanokoji, one final thing to say to Ayanokoji, which was, "I hope we may see each other again someday," which was something that Ayanokoji in the back of his head was thinking how this might never happen. He may never see Manabu ever again, but just for the sake of it, he told Manabu that he was looking forward to it. And that was it. And at that point, Manabu gave Ayanokoji a final handshake, and then he left, which was really just a good way to send off such a good character. While I am sad that Manabu may not be in second year, sure, he may be mentioned in second year, but he's not going to be in the school, I still want to see Manabu have some sort of return. Who knows, maybe that will happen maybe in third year or towards the finale of Classroom DLE. Who really knows? I really do hope we get to see Manabu once again because he's such a good character, and I do want to see him once again interact with Ayanokoji and see how he has changed and how he sees Ayanokoji now that he hasn't seen him in a while. But only time will tell when that will happen, and I really look forward into reading more of Classroom DLE. So anyway, that's the entire video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.